Hello, all, and welcome to Movie Bears Podcast TV. I'm Brad Harris, and each week I'm joined by Casey Scott, who's here with us. Hello, Casey.
Hello. How's
And
everyone?
I shouldn't say each week; it's more like every other week, or sometimes every 3 weeks. But
Right.
Whenever
there's
we feel
something
like
to
it. Whenever there's
Right.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah, whenever there's
That's
something
right.
to talk about.
That's right. And of course, you just heard from him. Stephen Heslin is here with us as well. Welcome, Stephen.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
Good to have you here. So, this is the spin-off of the Movie Bears podcast where we get to talk about all things TV, which I love doing because as much as I love movies, I think I'm a little more of a TV guy at heart sometimes. And so it's been a few weeks since we've done this, so I'm pumped to be back with you guys. Are you guys jazzed to talk about a few things today?
Yes. Why was there a break in our schedule? Oh, I don't know. You were seeing 31 movies.
Oh my God, guys!
Right.
Oh my God! Yeah, so we went to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. We got to hang with Will from the Movie Bears podcast, and saw 31 movies in 8 days. And that worked out to about 5-ish movies a day, sometimes 6.
Right.
That's like 3 seasons of The Walking Dead or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of crazy because, like, and I promise this fits into TV. So, like, we would have to wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning to get down there, and you, as press, you can get like fast passes. You get like 4 of them, so that you can stand in like the express line to go into your movie.
Right.
And so we'd have to be down there like super early for that. And then the last movie of the night would be at midnight, so we'd be back by like 2:30. And then, Will is a huge Survivor fan, so we had 2 weeks worth of Survivor to catch up on, like spreading that out, and it was crazy. It was crazy. Anyway, I'm back. I've had some sleep. I'm finally caught up on sleep, and I'm ready to talk about some mother effing TV. We've got some crazy stuff to talk about tonight. Looking has been canceled, and we'll get into that here in a little bit.
Spoiler alert.
I know. We'll also be talking about the premiere of iZombie, which was all the rage at South by. They had a lot of TV stuff going on as well down there, and they had some of the cast and crew from the show there. And of course, I hadn't seen the show yet, so I'm like, why do I care, huh? And now I'm like, darn it, I wish I would have gone and checked it out, but whatever. And we'll also be talking some MeTV, so we'll be discussing some things we've been watching individually, since it's impossible sometimes to agree on 3 things that we're all watching at the same time. It can be a little challenging. That's okay. Yes. Are we ready to talk about, gosh, this is maybe the last time we ever talk about Looking.
Well, spoiler alert. We'll get into that.
I said maybe. We'll see. Who knows where we'll be if, But are you guys ready to dig into it?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Our discussion of the cancellation and season finale of Looking. Okay, so
Steven, what
I
mode
was
is that?
looking around.
He was looking.
I was like, what mode did your machinery go into during the pause? It was like you're on standby.
He was looking for renewal, but didn't.
Did not find one.
I know.
Yeah, there have been so many things. Like, I guess people weren't looking at it enough for it to be renewed. I was just like, fuck you. Like, how dare you?
So what I think we'll do is let's just get it out of the way. Let's talk about the cancellation. We can talk about the season finale, kind of in the scope of that as we go, if you want. But Casey Scott, when I broke the news about Looking, you kind of had a little bit of a moment there.
I did. I was like, I literally said out loud, fucking gays. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Why did the gay community not watch this show? It doesn't make sense to me. It just infuriates me to death. I don't think that's the entire blame. I think another I think that the show had a problem finding an audience. I think the first season I can't believe the first season had stronger ratings than the second season. The second season was infinitely better. Press-wise, it was getting much better press. I think the main problem was changing the time slot, because I think that it was in a good spot behind Girls, because it was both shows were tackling, similar demographics of people in large, large metropolitan areas, and they mirrored each other very well. But instead, they scheduled Girls and then Togetherness and then Looking, and so somehow Girls and Togetherness got renewed very quickly, and Looking was always on the chopping block with every episode. Yeah. Yeah, you broke the news to me, and yesterday I didn't have access to any news or anything. I was running around, New York doing all sorts of stuff, and I had my phone turned off because I forgot my charger. And so I turned my phone on, and then I'm like, Brad Harris Facebook message, so sad about Looking. I was like, what? Do not even say it's become official. And then I was like, is it official? He said, yeah, it's official. I was like, fuck. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the upside to it, right, is they are giving us like a finale special. A lot.
Yes,
I haven't seen an exact time released. A lot of people are saying it's going to be like a 2-hour-long movie or something. I don't know if that will really be the case, but we are going to get some kind of closure, I guess.
Which is nice.
Right.
Because there's a lot of HBO shows that they're like, well, it came to a nice conclusion. It's like, no, it didn't. Like Carnival, I loved Carnival, exactly. And it was like, they're like, oh, it was the right place to end it. I'm like, there was a cliffhanger ending.
Right.
How was that the right place to end it?
Clearly, HBO was not watching the show that it was that it was even airing. They didn't know how it ended. I don't think.
Even same with Oz. I mean, they sort of tacked on a 5-minute ending that didn't make sense because they got word when they were shooting their last episode that it wasn't going to be renewed. But it was like, it definitely didn't get closure, the kind of closure that you wanted. It was just like there was a riot, and they get bussed off, and there's this weird shot at the end. You're like, what the hell?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think about shows in the past that have been canceled and never really get a proper ending, and it makes me mad. Like, that's happened so many times. So, for me, I appreciate that HBO is giving us, like, a finale special to kind of wrap things up a little bit. Maybe, show us Daniel's penis one more time.
A bunch more times. That could be the whole 2 hours. It was pretty nice.
So, I mean, Stephen, what are your thoughts on the cancellation here? I mean, is this a surprise to you, or
it kind of isn't. I mean, it's not getting the kind of buzz that like Game of Thrones is, and even some Netflix shows that I watch, get a lot more buzz than Looking does. I always kind of ask people like, "Oh, are you watching Looking?" I'm like, no. And so I kind of got the feeling it wasn't getting the ratings. That on top of that, I guess is a weird barometer of mine, but like when you turn on like Apple TV, because sometimes I wouldn't watch the episode right away and I didn't have a DVR or something, so I'm like, oh, I'll watch on HBO Go. And when you have to go like 3 or 4 shows in the scroll thing before you can find it, and like Game of Thrones, which hasn't been on in like 18 months, is first, you're like, oh, they're not really promoting the show because it's not getting the audience, So it's this weird vicious cycle. Like, if they had put it in the front, maybe it would have gained a bigger audience. But, who knows? It's, and also, I've heard so much. It really kind of divided, I feel, the gay community in the sense that there are certain people like us who I think embraced it for what it was, and even though it had a gay theme and that's what attracted us to it, I think we all appreciated it for the intricate storytelling, the characters, and the environment, and the sort of time period and everything, that we like those aspects of it. But then there was the other side of the gay community that's like, this is stereotypical and stupid and bleh, So I feel like it didn't really unify anyone. Like everyone didn't come together and love the show. It was just sort of, I think it was only a segment of the population that liked it.
Right.
We happen to like it. I thought the last episode was kind of meh, for a season finale.
God. Oh, I loved it.
I
thought it was
amazing.
amazing.
Really?
Yeah, no, I thought it was. The only thing that I didn't like about it, I guess, if we're going to get into it, is that there wasn't enough time spent with the other characters. It was very Patrick focused, which has been my issue, my big issue, basically my really only issue with the show this season, is that it's like we've gotten so many Patrick centric episodes, and it's like, okay, we've forgotten that Augustine's going through something too, and we should probably spend a lot of time with him to try to figure out what his transformation is like, considering that after the first season, everyone basically wanted him, you know, hung from a tree. You know, he was just he drove everyone nuts, and it was totally obnoxious. And so it didn't give him or Eddie enough time. And then Dom and his relationship with Doris, which was one of the best things about the show.
Well, that's the thing. I would have liked more time with that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this definitely is not a big surprise, just because the first season was really kind of the make or break moment, right, to get the following that it needed. And, you know, it never really caught on, right? I think they had like 1 million viewers per episode, 2 million at the high point. And then this season they've had about 300,000 to 500,000 per episode tuning in.
Right. It was less than. It was like less than. It was more. There's a lot more than 50% audience drop off.
Yeah. I mean, huge drop. And like you said, Casey, I mean, it's a shame because this season was a lot better. I had a lot of complaints about last season. I wasn't as enamored with it as you guys were, I think. But this season really turned a lot of things around. I agree with the Patrick stuff. I'm not a fan of his character. I cringe.
He's just so whiny.
Yeah, I cringe every time he's on screen. And, you know, spoiler alert, we should say that for the finale. But especially the stuff with, like, oh, I'm moving in with my boyfriend, and, oh, now we're going to go to a gay party, and, oh, he wants an open relationship, and I don't. Like, he's just so, like, cringe, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just over him, and I'm right there.
But I think that's, you know, and that's something that I think really bothered me about complaints about the show, was people saying, well, you know, these characters aren't likable, but then they would go and watch shows like Girls or How to Get Away with Murder or Scandal, which are filled with some of the worst people ever on TV. But, you know, because it's looking and because it has to be held up to a higher standard because it's a gay show, like, you know, I think that's really unfair. And you know, and I think that part of the thing about the show is watching these characters grow and learn about each other. And so, you know, I had this conversation with someone on Facebook where they were like, well, you know, it doesn't make sense that Patrick is like this naive and makes these many mistakes. And I was like, listen, we've learned this about Patrick. He's an ex-fatty, so he has body issues. He comes from a WASP family, so he's concerned about pleasing other people. He has all these issues that we've learned over the season that inform who his character is. So you should recognize when he makes stupid mistakes, that's what comes with his past. And so, you know, it's a process of him getting to learn stuff about himself and his relationships.
And I totally get that, and I think that's awesome. I think we just had too much of it. I think it wasn't.
No, I would agree. There was too much time with him. I would have loved more Augustine and Dom.
Right, exactly. And like
they have their shit too.
Right, like the first season, I did not like Augustine's character at all. This season, I think he's you know, next to Doris, he's like my favorite character this season. So it's just kind of an interesting turnaround. We've got a live comment here that just came in from a very handsome guy named Enzo Fiorello. He says, hey guys, I watched the first season of Looking and enjoyed it. It was slow but wrapped up nicely. Never got around to season 2. Do you think, guys?
Watch season 2.
I think that's a big yes recommendation from us, Enzo. Even though the show is being canceled, it's way better in season 2. So if season 1 was a little slow and sleepy for you, season 2 isn't perfect, but it's much better. So you may want to check that out. But I mean, let's talk a little bit in terms of other fan comments. We put something on Facebook about the cancellation and asked people to kind of weigh in with their thoughts. And I'll just read some of these. Al says, that really sucks.
Yes, it does, Al.
That sums it up, honestly. You
know. William says, Russell Tovey is so good looking. He's a beautiful man. And I like all types. I agree. He is a very handsome fellow. Brian says, bye, Felicia. Good riddance.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you that he did not watch season 2.
No, you never know. You never know.
No. Listen, a lot of the people that I've been talking to are like, well, I'm glad it went, blah blah blah. They didn't watch season 2. They're basing it on what season 1 was, and that they didn't like season 1. So,
which, to a certain extent, I don't fault them for that. If you don't like season 1, why would you watch season 2?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
yeah, exactly.
Right. And just to say, as these comments come in, we appreciate you guys weighing in with your thoughts. We'll try not to harpoon your feelings too much.
I always
Hey,
really
Bye Felicia is not a feeling. Bye Felicia is. So I'll harpoon any meme I want to.
All right. Casey Scott's on fire tonight. Look at it, everybody.
He's got his drink.
I welcome your feelings. Yeah. I welcome your feelings and thoughts. Your hashtags are, grist for the kill, basically.
Well, to be fair, he didn't hashtag it. He just put 3
Oh, he didn't hashtag it, so it's not official by Felicia. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Corey Matthews says the show was horrible and so stereotypical. I'm glad it's being pulled. And a few people have liked that comment, so it's getting some traction. We have someone named, he goes by Bear on Facebook. He says, Patrick was slowly becoming the gay Britney by freaking out about everything and then, spoiler alert, shaving his head. He says, I loved the show in the beginning, but this season seemed so manic. The only character that really grew was Augustine. The prep storyline was good, and it was nice to see a real Bear relationship on TV. Yeah. And then last comment here is from Bibsy, who says, to be honest, I saw this coming, especially after that blah finale. I do enjoy this program, but storylines lack agency. It's a shame that the unsympathetic Patrick was constantly the central character. Agreed. So reading through these comments, they seem to be kind of split, right? We have several people who are like... Yeah, so I mean that seems kind of indicative, I think, of how people are kind of coming down on this. Stephen, do you think that a lot of people are sort of unfairly judging it just on season 1 and never circled back? I mean, is that a real thing? Or
I think so. I mean, I think a lot of people even judge it on the first couple episodes, not even the whole season, because I think we got turned around by the end of season 1.
Right.
We saw, the characters grow and expand, and we were all looking forward to it, season 2. So, I think first impressions do go a long way. I think a lot of people probably tuned in to kind of see what this was going to be like, because it's probably the first gay central show since Queer as Folk on, a channel like this, and where they can push boundaries.
Right.
So I think, when they saw the first couple episodes, and, I think they're even lumping the whole season into those first couple episodes. Like, I watched the first season. I bet you they probably didn't even watch the whole season. So, it's, and like we were saying earlier, in a way, I don't blame them. I think we stuck with it because we're the kind of people that give shows a chance to grow. But, there's a lot of people that's like, I've got too much stuff I want to watch. You got to come out of the gate swinging, and this was kind of a stumble out of the gate.
Well, sorry, looking that you're going away.
I had a thought. Like, okay, so the one comment said the complaint was that it was too stereotypical, or too many stereotypes. I don't understand that at all.
I don't either. I don't
understand that. I think that maybe certain viewers are seeing things that they've recognized in other gay stories and think that those have automatically become stereotypes. Just because you recognize something doesn't mean it's a stereotype. So, you'll hear conversations about them liking Golden Girls, which, that's a trope in gay life, but it's not a stereotype. I don't see that in everything.
And by the way, I watch Golden Girls every night before I go to bed, so
it's good sleepy time. Yeah, it's good sleepy time stuff to go. It's a good go-to sitcom for the night. But I mean, like a gay stereotype is like if they were talking about Madonna or Cher all the time. I think it's different, So I think maybe that's just a misunderstanding by certain viewers. But I mean, AV Club wrote a really, really good piece about the show, and it was like an open letter to HBO saying this is why you shouldn't cancel it. And their big reasoning was that it's the only show on TV right now that's exploring the lives of gay men exclusively on TV. There aren't any other shows that are doing that. There are other LGBT characters, but the show's not focused on them. They're on the sidelines, and not it's not downplaying their importance, but it's looking is kind of a big deal in that way. It's doing something on TV that nothing else is doing, and it also pointed out, I think one of the big criticisms of the show that there was a lack of diversity, but it's really not that true. I mean, I think all the characters represent different types of people and different.
Yeah, there were.
I mean,
I don't think.
So that really kind of
white
bothers
guys
me.
on it. Yeah.
Right, and they're of different age groups, and there's there's a Mexican guy, there's a Cuban American guy,
There's a black guy.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of. I mean, I thought the storytelling was great. I really. But
Well,
it was just me. It was just me. It was just me and a bunch of other critics, probably. It was apparently more people felt this strongly about the show than it would have probably stayed on the air.
Well, it's unfortunate, but it's happening. It's reality at this point. So maybe we will review the finale. Whenever that is. I mean, I have no idea what the time frame is going to be like, right? Because they sort of ended their production a couple months ago, right? And so I don't know how that's going to work, but I guess we'll find out eventually.
Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I like that they're doing that because I mean the creators of the show come from a cinematic background, so it makes sense that they would want to make. And honestly, I think that's maybe another issue with the show is that it's 30 minutes, and there's only so much you can do with these very rich characters and their various issues in 30 minutes. That's another reason why we didn't get enough time with Augustine and Eddie and Dom and Doris. There just wasn't the time for everybody,
Yeah. Right. Well, guys, any other thoughts on Looking before we move on?
Oh, well, the series finale I thought it was amazing. There really haven't been that many other shows that have talked about the concept of an open relationship versus a closed relationship, monogamy versus, polygamy.
I just didn't like the way Patrick was freaking out about it. I mean, it just, I
think
agree
it's
that.
normal. I think it's a normal reaction from people who are coming from his specific place, where he's coming from this and he's coming from, I'll repeat, an ex-fatty background, so he thinks he already has self-esteem issues. So when someone says, I want to have sex with other people, possibly, he immediately thinks he's not good enough for that person, and he even, he articulated that in the argument. So I thought it was really well done. It was really well directed. A lot of single one-track shots. I really loved that whole thing. It really built up to a very nice peak and then kind of mellowed out in the last sequence with Richie. So I thought it was really, really great.
Okay.
Well, for me, I kind of felt like the finale was kind of lackluster. I was actually with finales,
it just didn't feel like a finale to me.
Yeah, it didn't. It just felt like another episode in the season. That's so aptly put, Stephen. I just didn't get the feeling that this was the finale of the season, right? I mean, I guess it's kind of on a cliffhanger. Like, will Patrick and Kevin work through this? Will they not? I guess we don't know. But it just didn't really have the finality of a season finale for me. Yeah. So. But I mean, I think the season as a whole has been really, really good. Yeah. But I don't know. Could have been a little better for me. But Stephen, for you, season finale, good.
About the same. It just felt like another episode. Nothing really felt wrapped up. That's kind of what I expect from a finale, and I know that's my expectations. They don't have to meet my expectations, but I just and it doesn't have to be wrapped up positive. It doesn't have to be a good, happy, wrapped up in a bow kind of feeling, but it has to have. I feel like a season is an arc, and I felt like we were at the peak, not really towards a finale of an arc. So. It just, to me, it just kind of, I liked it. I liked the episode. I kind of felt like I was waiting for at the end for them to go, next time I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the finale.
Right.
See, I don't ever, I mean, I can't think of the last season finale I saw that had any closure. Most season finales of shows, I'm thinking Game of Thrones, Girls, Breaking Bad, they end with expectations of what's going to happen in the next season. And
yeah, which can be a cliffhanger.
I thought they did that. I thought they did that very well with this. I mean, and they provided closure. They provided closure to two of the characters' storylines. Eddie and Augustine are doing fine. They're in a relationship official. Dom and Doris made up, and it's the assumption that Doris and Malik are probably going to go on to something more substantial. And the Patrick and Kevin thing is up in the air, so that leaves that expectation for the next season. I thought it did exactly what a season finale is supposed to do, which is leave you expecting something from the next season.
Yeah.
And provide some closure. But, I mean, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, all the major shows that have season finales, they have that aspect of, okay, the story isn't done, come back next season, which I think the season finale here did very well. Yeah. But, that's me.
Okay.
All right. Okie doke. Well, we're like 40 minutes in, and we still have lots of other things to talk about.
We do.
Going.
We have a fun show to talk about. Yeah.
We do. So, are we ready to move on then? Are we?
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Then here we go. Then we're going to change tracks and talk about a new show on the CW called iZombie. Okay, so we'll preface this, as normal, by saying we're going to be spoiling the plot of the premiere episode of iZombie, so if you have not seen the show yet, and you value your virginal innocence, now is your time to bail and come back in about 10 or 15 minutes and rejoin us. So I'll kick this one off. Casey, it was actually your idea, I think, to talk about this show. But since you went first for looking, I figured I would go first here because I did not want to watch this show at all. You were like,
I know.
You were like, OMG, guys, iZombie is coming out. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, why, oh, why am I doing a podcast with this guy? Really? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't really think that.
It was a new show. It's based on a comic book. It has pop culture. It's resonated in pop culture. So.
Right, absolutely. And I'm just teasing. I'm just jibing you a little bit, but
you were having you were having South by Southwest fatigue.
I was.
Like, I don't want to watch anything right now. Just leave me alone.
That's pretty much it.
Give my eyeballs some rest.
Right.
When I got home, all I wanted to do was read. I didn't want to watch anything. I didn't want to look at a screen. I just wanted to, But anyway, the previews of this show looked really phenomenally stupid. And I just was not on board. But I'm like, you know what? It's only one episode. Like, it's 42 minutes out of my life. It's fine. I'll watch it. And I ended up watching both episodes, and I ended up liking it quite a lot, actually.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Way more than I thought I would. For those who are listening, they don't care about spoilers. Basically, the premise of this show is that the main girl gets clawed up by a zombie at a party on a boat, and the boat goes up in flames, and she's the only one to survive this party, and she wakes up as a zombie human hybrid thing. Like, she just has really pale skin, and apparently all zombies have platinum hair or something. But she has, like, special abilities when she eats brains because she works in a morgue. You know, she eats brains of people who come in as violent crime deaths or whatever. And she gets to experience flashes of their memory and use that to help solve their murders.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like Nancy Drew meets The Walking Dead a little bit.
And it might be Pushing Daisies, too.
Oh, yeah. A little bit.
I never saw Pushing Daisies. So
that was a great show.
Great.
Was it? Yeah. That was another, like, early cancellation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was it.
But I was kind of surprised. The show has been described as too bubblegum by some.
Really?
Yeah. But I think I liked the second episode better than the first, but we're only talking about the first one. But I thought it was cleverly written. I think it had good pacing. Obviously, it's going to be kind of a procedural crime show every week. But I liked some of what they were doing with... I've never read this comic book, but I think it's interesting that, when she eats the brains with, like, hot sauce and ramen noodles or whatever... that not only does she get flashes of their memory, but she assumes their personality traits. So, like, she eats the brain of a kleptomaniac hooker. I don't know why she wasn't spontaneously having sex with people.
Yeah.
But at least she was stealing things. You know?
Well, I think hookers don't necessarily want to have sex all the time.
Yeah,
So
that's probably true.
it's their business. Yeah.
I suppose. But you know,
But I get what you
it did raise a question for me because suddenly she could speak Slovakian or whatever the language was, right? So
right.
I'm curious how long those abilities stay around, or if they're permanent. Like, will she always be able to talk Slovakian and have a penchant for stealing things, or you know, I don't know.
Is it like Heroes where you get the power, you get the traits
If you eat the
one
brain.
person, you keep it forever, right? Exactly.
Right, or just until you eat the next brain. You know, I don't know how it works.
Right.
I'm hoping they explain that as we go along, but
Right.
it was a pleasant surprise for me. I would say it's worth checking out. Definitely a little more comic booky, and that's weird to say because it's not a superhero show per se, but
Well, with the way they do the panels and everything,
yeah, exactly.
You know, they try and really tie it back to the source material.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I thought it was good. Casey, how about you?
I thought it was really a lot of fun. I mean, I went into it. Yeah, I knew that it looked intriguing from the commercials. It didn't look completely terrible to me. It looked like it could be campy and enjoyable. So I went into it with very low expectations, and it kind of exceeded them. I mean, I thought it was really nicely put together. I thought it was, pretty clever. It's developing this new kind of mythology for zombies, which I like. I liked the guy. I liked the actor who plays her lab assistant, who's kind of her partner in crime, and he has a British accent, so he's like super cute. And I like the actress who plays her, Rose McIver. And I wonder where I've seen her before. She was on Masters of Sex, where she played Bo Bridges' daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was like, where have I seen her? Oh, that's right. She was the prude who found out she was going to marry a Jewish guy and flipped out. Yeah, I think she's really good. I liked that the first episode it took place around Halloween, so it was kind of like this it was another inner struggle for this girl where she's like a living, breathing Halloween character, and so she's kind of being surrounded by like, oh god, I think it's interesting that she kind of she watched George Romero's Night of the Living Dead as like homework or something. Like she's just eating her brains with the noodles and the hot sauce and watching Night of the Living Dead. It's she's watching it like she's watching Maury or something. There are just like lots of nice, fun little touches to it, and I don't know why I haven't watched the second episode yet, just because I've been running around doing work stuff. But I'm probably gonna watch it tonight or tomorrow because it's definitely a show that I could see myself watching continually.
Nice. How about you, Steven?
I think I was pleasantly surprised too. I mean, when I first heard the concept, I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting," but there's something about. I think it's just the title, like iZombie, is like, oh,
right.
It's sort of a groaner, and so, but I only watched the pilot, and it was, I think I was like you, Brad. I was kind of pleasantly surprised with how fun it was. I like how they did that different take on zombies. That they aren't all brain dead. That they basically, she says in the first episode that if I continually eat brains, I can maintain myself, but the more I go hungry and I don't eat them, I become more angry and ravenous and, sort of monstrous. So, she kind of sets up that she has to continually do this. Her boss, is trying to find a cure for her, which gives her hope that, maybe if she just continues going on this way, that one day there might be a way to turn her around. The pacing and everything, it was kind of fun, and it was just a different take on zombies. We've been watching Walking Dead for so long. It's just, it's great to see somebody just turn it on its head. But at the same time, as much as I could see myself continuing to watch this, I don't think I will. There's too much stuff I have to catch up on, and there's too much good TV out there that this is sort of at the bottom of my list. It's not a bad show. It's just there wasn't enough in there to make me bump other shows off.
I could understand that for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So would you say it's too bubblegum for you then, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a little too Buffy the Vampire Slayer for me, which I know there are people who absolutely loved it and said it was the best, TV show ever made. I never just connected with it.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't either.
No, I couldn't get past season 1, and everyone tells me season 2 is where it started getting good. I was like, okay, but I have to make it through season 1 because
Yeah.
I can't just skip ahead like that, and it's very difficult for me to get through season 1. So
Right.
yeah, that's on my back burner too.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I don't know that there's a ton to talk about here per se.
No, it's a highly. I would recommend the show. I think if somebody's looking for something like that, I would definitely recommend it. But it's just, I don't know that I'm going to continue watching it right now.
I'll probably check out a couple more episodes. I like to go with my rule of like 3 to 5 episodes before I give up on something.
That's a good rule. Yeah.
Yeah. It may be something that if I really like it, I may come back and binge watch it later when it's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Available.
That's the kind of thing. Like when I have some time, maybe I'll binge.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm planning to do with Gotham. A really good friend of mine, Brian from LA, was talking to me today about how Gotham really gets good about halfway through the season, and the more you go, the better.
It got renewed, so.
Yeah, so part of me was like, I'm never gonna go back to Gotham, but the other part of me is like, I kind of trust his opinion. We think very similarly on shows sometimes, so. I'm thinking if he thinks it gets really good, maybe I should go back and check it out. But it won't be until 2 things happen. 1, it's all available for streaming all at once. And 2, we're in a lull, and I have nothing I actively am wanting or need to watch.
It seems like a summer kind of thing, maybe during summer break. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Something like that. Maybe after Game of Thrones wraps up. You know what I mean? Which, oh my God, starts next month.
April 11th and 12th.
April's insane.
It's like there are so many shows premiering on April 12th alone.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Veep is coming back. Mad Men's coming back. Silicon Valley's coming back.
Okay, Casey, I have a question. I have a question for you, and then we'll kind of move on here. So I have never watched a single episode of Veep in my life.
Oh my God!
But I keep seeing commercials for it every time I watch something on HBO Go, and I guess potential spoilers. But she's the president now, right? So how can they call it Veep?
Yes. It's kind of like House of Cards at this point, where she only has a finite amount of time. So I think there's the threat of her going back to being the Veep or just being dethroned. So I mean, there haven't been that many shows that have changed their title. The only one I can think of is James at 15 became James at 16, and that was in the 70s after he turned 16. So they can't really change it from Veep to POTUS. So it's called Veep, but she's the president, but she's barely the president. It's kind of she's hanging on by
Gotcha.
her claws.
Because apparently she has time to get her hair done and go to clubs or something that I saw.
Yeah, no, she's barely the president. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of
That show is great though.
Is so
funny. I may have to check it out. I do like the actress quite a bit.
I love her. It's one of my favorite shows.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. That's a really good show. I'm very excited about that coming back.
Awesome. Well, guys, are we ready to talk a little MeTV?
Let's do it.
All right. So this is the part of the show where we talk about our special alone time. Get really comfortable on the couch by our... No, I'm just kidding. Steven, one show that you're watching lately that you are super jazzed about, what is it?
I think I spoiled this to you guys earlier, and I might be stealing one of yours, but... If you are not watching it, drop everything and watch it now. It is The Jinx.
Oh my God! Yes.
So I still have 3 more episodes.
No spoilers. We're starting it tonight.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that was what I wanted to do really bad for the show. I was like, this is good. We should do it. But there's just too much. That's the problem. There's just too many shows to do.
I knew Casey was pushing it for weeks. Viewers of this podcast. Casey is the one that's telling us everything. Like, you guys have to be watching this, and we're always like, I can't. Dad, don't make me.
There's just no time.
Yeah. And but then when all the news started coming out about the thing, where my husband and I were like, let's check out an episode, and oh my God, we were hooked immediately. It's so well done. It's to me, it's the visual equivalent of the Serial podcast. You know, it's just got that sort of weird intrigue, but it's also one of those like, this is real life. This is happening. You know, and like it's happening in the news at the same time. It's just crazy. But it's and it's just a fascinating character study. It's a fascinating look at history. It's a fascinating look at the legal system. It's a fascinating look at crime. It's just amazing.
Right. And something that hasn't been talked about that much. This isn't spoiling anything. It's just like how, which is something that I think in the wake of like the whole 99%, you know, the anti-1% movement and everything, that if you have money, you can get away with pretty much anything.
Exactly.
And so watching the show, you're just like, wow. You know, it's like this whole saga, there's money
totally
flowing throughout
bought his way out of everything.
Yeah, and it's just, and I thought that the reenactments were actually really well done.
Really well done.
And so that's major. That can like make or break something like this, because if they're really shittily done, like some cheap, you know, like ID or court TV special, then it's really bad. But these are really well done, and it really makes you feel like you're experiencing a flashback to what was happening.
Well, we're starting it as soon as the podcast is done tonight and eating dinner.
We gotta hurry up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for you guys to watch it. I wish that I might go back and revisit it, because there's just so many pieces of it that I'd like to kind of focus on more than others now.
And oh my God, my favorite title sequence since True Crime or True Detective.
Yes.
Sorry.
And the song is so good. It was used in True Blood, and it's like, yeah, it's a very chilling, disturbing show, but it's really it's great. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to watch it then.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah. Very cool. All right, well, I will go next. So I, you know, with South by and everything, I have been kind of behind on a few episodes of things because getting ready for vacation, and then on vacation I've just had very little time. So recently I was able to catch up to The Flash. Up to The Flash. That's kind of funny. Like, I'm imagining me, a fat bear, running after the Flash. Anyway, I have to say the season really started out very shaky for me, but the show has by and large become the best show on the CW for me.
Better than Arrow?
I like it better than Arrow this season.
Wow.
I was just saying something. Steven, are you still watching it?
I'm watching both. I am one episode behind on both, but I'm watching both.
Okay. I don't know. I like the energy and the tone of this show a little better than Arrow. Like, I love Arrow. I love the dark grittiness to it, but I like the like joy of the Flash. I like kind of the lightness a little bit. I almost feel like I need it to balance me out, because Arrow is so dark and heavy.
Yeah.
And Flash is kind of light and airy that it, you know, kind of brings me middle ground.
Yeah.
But I just think, you know, some of the stuff that they've been doing, especially the last few episodes, has been amazing. I mean, I've totally loved it. This very last episode was a little bit of a letdown overall, but I'm just surprised at how good the show has gotten since the first couple episodes, where I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to keep watching this.
Yeah. I will say I like it a little bit more than in the beginning, but I still don't love it. But I'm still watching it.
Yeah. For me, it's great. I'm really enjoying it. I just hope that you know, there's only a few episodes left at this point, and they're kind of stringing out like this one main story point across the whole season. I hope that we get some resolution and not like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I tend to like things a little more neatly wrapped up, but I don't know. I'm loving it, and I love seeing that so many people on Facebook and Twitter are like going crazy about this show. It's getting a ton of buzz. You guys are like, stop talking about the Flash. You know. Anyway.
No, I'm glad. You know, that was one of the shows that I stopped watching, but I still like that there's a dedicated following to it. You know, because I still think it's a well done show, and I liked the writing and everything. It's just it fell by the wayside because it didn't intrigue me to keep checking it out every week. But it feels like a show that I could probably start back watching at any time and play catch up very quickly. Unlike Arrow, where I think there are so many different story arcs going on, it's difficult to do that with the Arrow. And also, this is still the Flash's first season,
right?
So I'm sure that I can start back up, like, you know, a few episodes back and probably be okay.
Well, it's so interesting because Marvel is doing this whole thing with their cinematic universe, right? And I guess DC is now too. But DC is like launching this whole huge like TV universe. I mean, we've got Flash, we've got Arrow, we have Supergirl coming to CBS next fall, but it's made by the same people who do Arrow and Flash. Firestorm and Atom, so two characters from Flash and Arrow, are getting their own show, and we're getting a Suicide Squad show. So that's like 6 like.
And Gotham is DC too, isn't it?
Don't forget Gotham, right? Exactly. Yeah. So just a ton of superhero TV. It makes my little geek heart beat very happily. But yeah, that's me. Casey, what about you?
What I am watching, that's right, we have this and then a plug, so okay, good. I was like, it's not as much Sophie's Choice now. I have binge watched twice now Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, I've heard that's really good.
It is really, really good. The first half of the season, I think, is stronger than the second half, where it gets a little too cartoonish and manic, like 30 Rock at its worst for me was. But I really like it a lot. Ellie Kemper, I mean, I've loved her since she kind of became known. She was in a college humor video called Blowjob Girl, where the whole video was her like preparing to give her boyfriend a blowjob, like, and she's like, how dry do you want my mouth? Like,
Wow.
Yeah, like she's basically, the whole thing is that she has no idea how to give a blowjob, but she's really funny. And she was great in The Office. She was good in Bridesmaids, but she kind of she develops this really interesting character that's really kind of sweet and naive and funny, and it's really good to see the Tina Fey type of show back on my TV, because I've missed 30 Rock, I missed Jane Krakowski like crazy because I loved Jenna Maroney so much, and she's basically playing Jenna Maroney again, but with a few little interesting quirks added. But I really like it, and it's only 13 episodes. It was renewed for a second season before it even aired on Netflix. So yeah, so that's coming up, and I just like it. There's her roommate is this larger-than-life black gay man named Titus Andromedon. And
I've seen a clip from something of his.
Yeah, he is absolutely amazing. Carol Kane plays their crazy landlady, and it's good to see Carol Kane again on a regular basis. Yeah, I might watch it again actually. It's because it's like there's so much fun stuff in it. It's already had tons of memes been developed because of it. So lots of GIFs, lots of still photos with words on them. So it's already becoming a big part of the pop culture lexicon in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
It only premiered like 3 weeks ago. So.
Wow. Sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I definitely want to check it out.
Well, Casey,
yeah, it's funny. If you like 30 Rock, you'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of your Sophie's Choice and plugs, why don't you kick plugs off with your other pick here? What is that?
Yeah. This makes it easier because one of the plugs I was hoping to maybe pitch to you guys to maybe try to cover it next week. This show that I'm going to plug is Last Man on Earth on Fox, with Will Forte as the Last Man on Earth. And I really like it a lot. I think it's really weird and crazy, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything because at this point we're 4 episodes in, and anyone who's seen commercials for it realizes that the title is misleading. Yeah. It's not really the Last Man on Earth, but it's building into this.
False advertising.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it's building it in such interesting directions.
Yeah.
And the people that show up are like complete surprises because they tend to be people who are known for their work in other shows. So it's like these celebrities show up.
Yeah.
It would almost be Gilligan's Island-esque if they didn't stick around to become a part of the larger story. Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's really funny and really smart. It reminds me, actually, parts of it remind me of Breaking Bad. I think it's the desert locale because it takes place in Albuquerque. But yeah, I really like Last Man on Earth. It's really funny. Lives up to the hype because it's been getting great reviews. Definitely worth your time.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Steven, what's your plug?
Well, speaking of Breaking Bad, I forgot about if you're not watching Better Call Saul, you better go watch it. It is fantastic.
It's really good.
I love that show so much. But for upcoming shows to keep an eye out for, we mentioned it earlier in April 12th or something, which is like super release day. Silicon Valley is coming back for its second season, and it was one of my favorite shows of last year.
That was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was very funny, and I'm really excited for the second season. So that's my sort of double plug.
You're double plug. You're double plugging it.
Ooh, double plugging it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Silicon Valley I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to come back and revisit Better Call Saul with you guys because, man,
it's
so good. Yeah, that show.
The finale's in 2 weeks, so...
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy to think that the finale is coming up so quick. But
I know. I feel like we just covered it.
I know.
We just covered the premiere. Yeah.
Well, it goes... When it's only like, 12 or 13 episodes or whatever, you know. And is it 13 or is it 10?
I think it was only like 6 or 7.
I think it's 10.
Is it,
I think it's maybe it's 8. I think it's 8. It's between 8
maybe
to
it's
10.
8.
Yeah.
I think it might be 8.
I know it's a low number. It's definitely a low number.
Yeah.
So not a full season like we're normally used to.
I think they were kind of testing the waters, and hopefully they got enough, feedback.
Definitely.
Right.
Well, let's see. For me, I'll close this out. My plug this week is a show called Star Wars Rebels. I've mentioned it on the show before. The first season just wrapped a couple weeks ago, and it was another one of those shows I was totally behind on. So today I watched like the last 4 episodes. They're like 22 minutes. It's an animated series. I won't spoil, but holy crap. I mean, any fears that I had about Disney handling the Star Wars property have been like totally allayed by this show.
That's good.
They have been so faithful to like the tone of Star Wars, to like the feel of what it should be, like this like sort of wisecracking space opera. I mean, it's epic while still feeling intimate with its group of characters. I really enjoyed it quite a lot. There are a couple huge surprises at the end of the first season I had no idea were coming, and now I am wishing it was October for the season 2 premiere, because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to last 5 months until it's back on again.
Yeah.
What did the show air? What network did it air on?
It's on Disney XD.
Okay.
Yeah, Disney XD.
Is that their porn channel?
No.
Disney
No,
X.
I think it's their Extreme Disney.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I
But,
thought it was for extreme double fisting, but that was...
yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's good times. I really like it. If you're a big fan of Star Wars, if you like CGI animated shows, you totally can't go wrong here. It's super good. So, all right, well, guys, I think that wraps us for this week. Yes,
It does.
Yeah.
That's a
All
lot.
What a roller coaster of emotions.
I know. Casey, any parting shots you want to make at HBO for canceling Looking?
No, I will say thank you to HBO for allowing them to do a 2-hour, or however long it's going to be, a special to wrap things up, because I would like a final goodbye to these characters.
Yeah.
And so I do appreciate that. As upset I am about the cancellation, I'm glad that we are getting a proper farewell.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. Thanks, HBO. We heart you, even though we hate you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And watch your back. Because that little newcomer of Netflix is coming up right behind you, girl.
Exactly. Well, I was hoping maybe Netflix will step up and take Looking. I was like, not with those ratings. So I didn't think that was going to happen. We do need another show with primarily gay protagonists. We need that kind of storytelling going on TV, whether it be Looking or another show.
Yeah.
So.
Now it's The Walking Dead, right? I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Walking
except we
Dead
haven't
is-
seen that couple together in weeks, so it's kind of like a blip on the radar.
It's going to be all gay all the time next season.
All right. There's a gay colony somewhere in Arlington or something.
It's interesting. Just real quick before we close, at South by, I had the opportunity to attend a talk that Robert Kirkman gave. Being 10 feet away from that man, and his shirt was like kind of unbuttoned with the chest hair popping out. Oh my god. Anyway, he was talking about kind of the crazy like bomb that the gay kiss like set off across the internet.
Right.
And my fear was that he was going to be like, wow, you know, your action's been really bad, you know, maybe it wasn't that great. And he was like, nope, that's what it is. If people don't like it, they cannot watch my fucking show. I don't care.
Nice.
And I'm like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, gays survive the zombie apocalypse. Deal with it.
That's right. That's right. You know. And he got a lot of cheers from the audience there for that. And I'm just, you know, I know it's on the side, but I just am really glad that, you know, obviously Walking Dead is not going to be the next Looking. But I like that they're presenting some gay stuff without it being like crazy focus. You know.
Right.
Who knows what we'll get as our next gay-centric show?
Yeah. Well, it might. How long do we have to wait between Careers Folk and Looking? So we'll probably have to wait that long again. I think it was like 9 or 10 years. So another decade, we'll get another show.
We'll see. All right. Well, I think next week we'll probably be talking Walking Dead.
Absolutely.
Right? Because this Sunday is the finale, I think, right?
Yeah, so, and it's an hour and a half, so you know some crazy shit's going to go down.
I know. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Take care.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye, guys.
Enjoy TV. Casey Scott says.
What was that?
Enjoy TV, everyone. Heart TV.
Oh, my God.